Good evening, guys, and happy Tuesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Goodness, guys. So, well, because we didn't have to go to Meijer today, unlike yesterday, and, you know, we were, like, I guess, I got up a little bit earlier today, so we had some time. We ended up getting all 3 of the walls upstairs, 3 of the 4, which included the one with 3 windows on it, the other one that has like a half sloped sort of roof on it. Like, I don't know, it's weird because like the pitch comes out further than the whole wall was dormered out, so there's like a slight pitch in that wall, so it like changes, if that makes sense. I don't know how really to describe it. I have to show you guys at some point. And there's one window underneath that, and then also to where we have the other side of the wall that's not dormered out. We finished the wall down there, although it's shorter, it's like almost like half wall height. We ended up finishing and got all of that out, plus I think all of the insulation. The only thing is that the insulation underneath the wall on this side, the one that has the sloped roof, that like half wall, it's half up, but then the rest of it is sloped, because that's the pitch for the roof. So that we're keeping that because that's all newer insulation. I think it was the stuff that was possibly put in from the previous owners, because it's the same stuff that was in the attic, and it's the same stuff they left in the attic. They didn't finish like insulating the attic, so they just left half of it. However, when my dad and Jack were trying to take it out, they did end up puncturing some holes in like a couple of them. Well, one was pretty bad. There's another one that's also pretty bad, so we'll probably have to replace in between 2 of the studs that's there, but for the most part it looks like all of the other stuff is still okay, so we're going to leave that. We also got in touch with a drywaller that's going to most likely come in. He's supposed to be coming in actually on Friday to come and look kind of at the room and just like give us an estimate as to what he thinks. But I think it's going to be to drywall and also to put in new insulation, which we were going to do, but he said that he could do it. The only problem that we were having with that is we were like, well, we'll probably buy it from Menards. However, we'd have to haul all of it. So what he actually said was, my dad didn't even ask this. He just said that he was like, sometimes when I do work, you know, people prefer to buy the materials themselves. He goes, and you guys can totally do that and I'll just put it in. But the thing is that he will go and pick it up, which is amazing, because like I said, that was kind of the thing we were running into, is that my dad has like a work van, but it's not like a truck, and then we have our SUV, but the same thing too, it's not really a, you know, like we could probably fit a lot in there, but we might have to make several trips actually and like buy up a bunch, then take a bunch. And the thing is too, we probably might even have to have it shipped to the store. So the great thing about Menards though is that we do get the 11% rebate back, so whatever we end up buying there, we can always get, you know, a percentage back and then use it for another project that we're gonna have to get. So if we do the drywall, you know, like in the what's it called, the insulation, we buy that stuff, we'll probably get a pretty decent sized rebate. We can use that to put towards the flooring that we also have to get, which we'll probably do at a different time. My dad didn't end up asking the person that he ended up calling that's coming out on Friday about the floors, but he might mention it to him as well, about that. And my parents, I think there's carpet up there right now. We have no carpet in the rest of the house for very good reasons, because the dogs like to well, we've had a lot of puppies, let's just say that. But there was carpet in my parents' bedroom, I think originally when we first moved in, and in the living room. I just told you guys the other day about the my mom tearing up the carpet in the living room when we like first moved in, and how she was so excited because the outline, like the outside that she started pulling up, looked so nice. They look like such nice hardwood finished floors. As she started to get to the middle of the floor was just like completely unfinished and was definitely needed some TLC. But the thing is that eventually over the years my parents didn't end up actually finishing it. So they were finished at some point. They were just very, very worn, I guess, and more in the middle. But like the outside that my mom looked like sparkling, like brand new. My mom's like, why would they cover this up? And then yeah, figured out that it was because the inside was very worn down and they needed to be refinished. And we never ended up doing that. So that's the goal for the other 3 bedrooms though, because while the floors in here looked really, really nice when we first moved in, like they're definitely starting to fade a little bit. They need some some touch up, and so do the other rooms as well. So we're going to do that and get those floors to look nice again. And the same thing too, we're going to get the living room floor to actually look better than it looked when we first moved in, which is, like I said, it didn't look very good, and it still doesn't look very good. So like I said, that's the goal also too. That's like a whole long time in the future. We got lots of other stuff to do before we even think about another room in the house, because there's 4 rooms kind of that we are trying to tackle a little bit all at one time. But again, we're moving beautifully through this. I am super excited. Jack is like, we'll probably have all this stuff hauled and out like by the end of the week. And then we have someone coming in to possibly hang drywall that we might even be able to get to do by like next week. So like I said, that's like amazing. It's just amazing, guys. So the process is, like I said, is moving so quickly, and I'm so excited about that. And like I said, the thing that I'm super excited about is that my parents will, you know, like the floors can be done. We can move them upstairs. We don't have to have the trim on right this minute. You know, we don't have to have a ton of stuff completely finished, which we'll probably do the trim ourselves potentially. You know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff, but we'll just probably be able to get a good portion of the stuff done as well. And like I was telling you guys too, we are planning on hanging the what's it called? The insulation, but again, if we can get somebody else to haul it, that would be way better for us. The thing is too, is that like, I think Menards, they rent trucks, so we could potentially rent a truck, then, you know, haul the stuff that we need to or whatever back here, which could also work. But again, it's sort of an added expense. If we're paying somebody to like put it up, we'll probably just almost end up like the same cost as just having him go and pick it up anyway. And I don't think we're going to be charged a whole ton extra like for that, as, you know, like I said, having to get a truck and all of that. So anyways, though, again, I am like super excited at the moving through all this stuff. Like I already, well, Jack was actually demoing beautifully upstairs. We had gotten one whole wall pretty much done, and I wasn't really even doing any of the demo. I was just going around and picking everything up. I was getting contractor bags and loading stuff in and everything. And also to an update about that, the dumps, we're not getting a dumpster, we're getting a bagster, I think is what it's called. I actually don't think that's what it is called, but I kept calling it that. It's like a dumpster garbage bag, giant, like reusable grocery bag kind of looking thing. It almost, I think, runs close to the same size sort of as a dumpster, but it's definitely not as tall. It only, I think, comes up maybe about like 3 feet or something like that. And so, and you can load the stuff in it, you know, and then they just haul it away the same as, you know, like a regular dumpster. But I told you guys we're kind of having problems about, we didn't understand from the directions like how it was supposed to move and where we had to line it up in our driveway and all this kind of stuff. So my dad called today and they were like, oh, you know, like, yeah, like, you know, basically what my dad told them kind of explained the situation. It was like, we had one there before and you guys were able to haul it away. And they're like, oh yeah, we had it there before, and you know, it sounds like everything, you know, pretty much should match up. They're like, you should be fine. But again, because I don't know if, again, if this was a long time ago we did it, like the directions have kind of changed since then, but for whatever reason they were just like, yeah, you know, like if it worked before, we'll do it again. So me and Jack might actually, I didn't look up yet when it's supposed to rain, but I was telling you guys too, it was one of the things we were kind of possibly gonna run into. We didn't want to leave the stuff in there if it was going to rain, because it's gonna get soaked and then, you know, be super heavy too on top of that. But so we might have to look that up. I don't know if that's going to be a huge problem, but we're also trying to avoid that a little bit. So the thing is that me and Jack tomorrow might end up loading that up, setting it up, and loading all the bags that we have upstairs up, because that's what I was doing. Jack was demoing by hand with everything. He was just making holes with a hammer and then just pulling drywall out and then pulling the insulation out. And then I was up there just basically picking all the little pieces up, putting them in bags, stacking all the big pieces and putting them in a stack so we can take them out later, because we didn't have that set up, because again, my dad called later today. So we ended up doing that, and like I said, I was just basically on cleanup crew and just kind of going behind Jack and cleaning everything up. Then my dad comes home, and originally he was like, oh, we can't do anything because it's his and my mom's like date night tonight. They normally do like dinner and a movie kind of thing, which they did end up watching something in the living room, and they ended up getting takeout. So but they ended up doing that way later. But originally my dad was like, oh, I can't today, you know, because we were doing that. But my mom was actually handling something else. So my dad's like, okay, I can come up here and give you guys, you know, like a little bit of time to, you know, help out. My dad comes up there though. Me and Jack, like I said, are going through with just basic, you know, very primitive tools upstairs, you know, hammer and crowbar and stuff like that. My dad comes up there with a sawzall and just starts like sawing through all of the drywall, just like right down the middle, and then just tears it off. And I was like, this is not fair whatsoever. He was teaching Jack how to use it. I've used it before. Like, and that was the thing too. Yesterday, my dad was like, oh, well, we'll get like drywall saws, like hand saws, so that you guys can just like go through and kind of just saw the stuff off and then tear it off, which is what we were going to do. And we were doing that for a portion of the time, but Jack was like, it's kind of just easier just to make the holes and then just rip it too, and it's a little bit more satisfying maybe, but it was like less work kind of to do that. But again, my dad comes home with the sawzall, and then just he ended up, we only spent about 2 hours today and got 3 of the walls done, and one of those, like I said, was by hand. Me and Jack were doing by hand. And so it was amazing to have all of that done, but you know, we probably could have had all 4 walls done, maybe even the slanted roof parts that still has to come down, all done in one day. But again, tomorrow we'll probably be able to get to the other one, the slanted roof, and maybe even start with the actual top roof, or finish it and be done with the entire room. But what me and Jack are going to do before my dad comes home is going to try and load up, like I said, all the garbage stuff, just because it's okay, but we're kind of running into now, like, we don't have quite enough room to walk around up there, so we do need to have a little bit more stuff cleared out. But oh my goodness, guys, it's awesome. I am so happy. We, like I said, should probably be done pretty quickly. I mean, again, me and Jack probably could have just done like 1 wall a day and been done by the end of the week still, even without the power tools. But again, we're got power tools, which I don't know why. Well, actually, I think my dad took it to work with him, which was the problem, and so that's why we didn't end up having it. But originally he said something like, oh, well, when I come home I can, you know, use it and just help you guys out or something like that. And then he was like, oh no, I can't, because, you know, like, it was my mom and dad's date night tonight. And then he was like, okay, well, she's busy, I'll come upstairs and help you guys. And he wanted, I think, to join in the fun a little bit, because honestly, guys, it is satisfying just breaking right into the drywall. Like, it's pretty fun. So but while they were doing that, I didn't even notice them. It's, you know, like, so after I finished cleaning up the one side where we were doing pulling all the stuff out, and then they were moving on to the other 2 walls, I didn't even notice them, like, over there really. And I was just taking out all of the nails that were in the wall, because we obviously have to have it pretty flush for them to come and put new drywall on. So all of the drywall nails that were in there, I had to take out by hand, which is, again, not very fun. I don't have any power tools I can do to make that any easier. Some of them were screws, so I did have to use the drill on occasion, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't really that fun. It was just very tedious work to try and pull all those nails out. But I ended up getting all the nails out, up until the point, because they were using the ladder at a point, like the step ladder, so I wasn't able to get all the way up, so I could only really do what I could reach. But everything against the one wall, all the nails are all taken out. Again, I do just have to go up and do everything from the top and pull all of that off. I think there might be a little bit of insulation in between one of the windows upstairs, not the double one. I think I took all that out. The other one, I think, and I think there's one piece of drywall for some reason still up there above the window that Jack couldn't get or something. So other than that, one whole wall is like completely 100% done, like I said, with the exception of those couple things. Then the other walls, again, there's still stuff that does have to be done on there. I have to take, again, the drywall nails out, and screws and all that stuff. And then I have to, I think maybe there might be insulation still left on the one wall. We are taking the insulation out. The other ones, we're not taking that out, because like I said, that is the newer stuff. But we do need to, like I said, get that all, like, you know, the ones that aren't the good pieces, because like I said, my dad and Jack did end up sawing into a couple of them. But the other thing too is that I think we'll be okay. I was gonna say maybe one of them. My dad is moving outlets around on that wall for sure. And when he does that, most likely we will have to possibly actually pull the insulation out. But my dad was saying too, the insulation is left over that they left in the attic. We can probably just cut that and just rehang that ourselves, so we don't have to have whoever's coming to do the new drywall end up, you know, and in the insulation do that. So, long story short, a lot got done today, guys. I am super, super happy with all of the progress that we're making. Like I said, just, you know, and also to having stuff lined up. Like, we're getting right along now with like, okay, the next process is going to be somebody having to come to do the drywall. And once they do that and they, you know, hang it, they mud it, they tape it, you know, again, and then we'll most likely need to get the floors. I don't know, maybe we paint first though. Probably want to do that before we do the floors, but if my dad talks to him at the same time, then we might just have to put tarp down. But if, like I said, if that's the case, then you know, like we have to paint, and then again we can get my parents moved upstairs, then we can finish with the trim, and you know, we can move on to the other bedrooms also too that need to be moved and all of that. But my parents' bedroom, we can at least get that out of there. Then we can probably, I was telling you guys, move Jack out of my parents' room. We'll have to make sure that we get the trim finished at least by that time, and then we can move all my mom's like desk stuff in her office upstairs, and then we move Jack out. We finish the office room that's going to be his bedroom, like I said, repaint in there, refinish the floors, do all that, then move him back. That room, my parents' room, will be free. We finish that, do the same thing, paint, redo the floors. I move in there, then in this room, paint, refinish the floors. Matthew moves in here. So again, we might not be in that long of a process or in that difficult of a process, where we can at least have all 4 rooms at least situated, and then there'll be work that has to happen after that. Like, we are going to probably redo my mom's office situation a little bit than exactly what we have down here, but we just have to figure out furniture wise and stuff like that what's going on. But again, too, one of the bigger things that I'm kind of looking at is at least making sure that, like, even if again people are going to be in a little bit of chaos, a slight bit, like I said, my parents, we might have to just move them up as soon as we have basics pretty much done. You know, we can't have everything spotless and perfect just at that time. You know, like I said, we might just have to move my mom's like desk stuff upstairs and not actually be able to like put it all together just at the time, so that we can get everything else done, because I told you guys we're in a slight bit of a time crunch to try and get all this done before May, by I think it's mid-May, because that's when Matthew's coming home for summer vacation, and we don't have anywhere to put him. He has nowhere to sleep right now. When he actually comes home this weekend, he's going to be on an air mattress in the living room, because we have there is no space. There's not a space in anybody's bedroom right now to just blow up an air mattress. There is not space upstairs, obviously, and I'm doubting he wants to live in a construction zone. So as of right now, he is going to be an air mattress in the living room, which you know, is how it's going to have to work. But like I was saying, that's just, we don't want him to come home though for summer vacation with all of his things that he's coming home with too, and having to put him on the air mattress. So again, we might have to be in a little bit of chaos, but so long as there's a roof, there's drywall up, there's flooring down, and again too, the smartest thing would be to paint upstairs at the same time. All that gets done, we can move my parents' stuff up there, get everybody else's rooms down here done. Like I said, I think is the process we're gonna have to go with. But there's a couple other things we might end up doing upstairs too. We might end up adding, not a half wall, but we might end up adding a wall, not all the way across upstairs. Talking about that. Also too, I was very disappointed to find out that there's a lot of storage space still left in the attic that is completely unutilized. And also too, some potential solutions for that I came up with as well, which I'll just share with you guys at some point, because it's very Pinteresty and very right up my alley as far as the construction build stuff that I really like to do. But utilizing space, that is my #1 thing. I love to build things that utilize space. I love to organize things because I like to utilize space to its best ability. And again too, I am very disappointed to see what I saw upstairs underneath our slanted roof that's upstairs. There is a ton of storage space. So like I said, while I was up there looking at those, we did end up pulling off some of the insulation that we were going to keep there, but because it got cut into, we ended up taking it down. And that's when I saw through and went, oh my goodness, look at how much space is back here. I'm starting to get a little creative bug now, and we'll figure out exactly how the situation's going to look. But I'm thinking something like a hidden bookshelf door, and maybe some cool storage solution kind kind of possible things in there. I don't know. We'll have to figure this out. Like I said, I'm going to come up with it, make some blueprints, just like I did with our little bird sanctuary outside. But that was a, you know, a pretty decently complex thing. And so long as I have an idea, I let it marinate for a while. It's not something we can do right this second, but so long as I let it sit for a little while and start thinking about it, I think I'm going to come up with some really good solutions, and we can hopefully build something like that. But anyways, I will let you guys know. Also too, my mom has been taking pictures, so if I can't get a hold of some of them, I can maybe also share with you guys a little bit as to what the process has been looking like, because she took one on Sunday, nothing yesterday, because I told you guys we really didn't do anything yesterday, and then some today. So like I said, if I can get a hold of some of those, I will share them with you guys. But anyways, I will see you guys though all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.